Jack Doherty's ex-girlfriend McKinley Richardson has just exposed him, revealing countless new allegations which could literally lead to him being sent to prison. And I'm talking some of the worst, most disgusting crimes a person could commit. So she would go and do a podcast with another one of Jack's ex-OnlyFriends girls, Camilla Arujo. Yep, her and McKinley were both part of Jack's OF exploitation. And let's just say, both of them exposed Jack for the horrific person he is. So let's yap him, let's get straight into it.
But within that first week, something horrible happened to me. He had a hometown friend there that he had known
staying with
us in the house.
Okay.
We end up going to bed, and I just remember waking up and his hand was in my pants. I was in the middle of him and Jack, and I just felt so violated and scared. I woke up freaking out. I pushed him away from me, and I'm like trying to tap Jack, and I'm like, Jack, and he's drunk as shit. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm pushing this guy off of me, and he doesn't care. I turned, he just is saying, I'm gonna fuck you right now. And I woke him up, and Jack woke up, and he was like, I was like, get him out of here. Like, I don't know what to do. And he's trying to hump me from the back while I'm talking to Jack, and Jack is awake. And Jack is like, bro, get out of here. Like, what are you doing? Go. And he was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm fucking her right now. I pulled Jack aside. I was like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, do you remember what happened last night? He was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I was like, he did that to me. Like, and I explained it in detail, and he was like, holy shit, I remember. He was like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. He was hugging me. I don't know what conversation they had with him, but from that day forward, I had never seen ever again. Like, Jack fully cut him off. It eventually came out, like, later on, while Jack and I were dating for over a year, he had texted Jack and apologized and said that he was on drugs that night, and he was tested positive, and he said, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. I was on drugs. No, I don't know.
Fucking shit. Sick.
I know.
So in that clip, McKinley talks about being assaulted inappropriately by one of Jack's hometown friends. Apparently, her and Jack and the friend were all in a bed together, where he then started touching her while she was still asleep. I mean, yeah, it's just absolutely disgusting. I didn't want to go over it again. It's a shame no one called the police that night, or the next morning, or just whenever. It should have definitely been taken care of legally. Otherwise, this dude has just gotten away with it with no consequences, and is able to go do it again to someone else. And the excuse he used, that he was on substances, is a terrible excuse. No matter what you're on, you don't touch people inappropriately without consent.
Why was I with him? But he wasn't. He was amazing. And I want people to know that, like, I didn't put myself in a toxic situation, but he was so different in the beginning. And I know, like, what people see of him online, like, it's obviously negative and all this stuff, but that wasn't who I fell for. It was not that. It was a protector. It was a provider. It was someone that had respect for me and, you know, just made sure I was okay, and opening the car door for me, taking me out to dinner, very respectful. It couldn't get better. I was like, these people love social media. They do fun skits all the time. Like, he was involving me in videos without having OnlyFans, a little bit here and there. Like, they would have like a little skit, and then it was fun, and I would be like, oh, that was funny, and it had nothing to do with, you know, the whole OnlyFans side of things.
So the next thing she would bring up is the fact that at the start of the relationship, Jack was a great guy, not toxic, and actually very loving and caring, which I think happens often in these toxic relationships. At the start, the guy really wants the girl, so he's going to do anything he can to get her. Act nice, act like he loves her, take her to dinner, buy her clothes, jewelry, treat her like a princess. But once he has her, he changes as a person, and his true personality is revealed. Very toxic and manipulative.
He walks downstairs and just starts laughing, like, with his friends, and I was just like, like, what's going on? He was very awkward hugging me, and I was like, this doesn't, like, seem right, like, I'm confused. As soon as everyone wakes up and, like, the girls come to me, even his own friends, everyone that worked for him came up to me and said, listen, Jack hooked up with a girl last night. I don't want you to freak out.
Oh yeah, me. I'm not gonna.
Right.
What are you talking about? I just flew across the fucking ocean.
Right. That's what I was really upset. Like, my stomach, like, I felt like a pit. I was like, damn, bro. But then they were like, but it's okay because he said that he thought it was you. Yeah.
Out of every fucking excuse ever, like actually ever, I've never heard of.
No, me neither.
Genuine.
And we look nothing alike.
No, you don't get it. I thought it was you.
Right.
No, I f***ed her because I thought it was your
Right.
So this might be the most insane thing I've ever heard. Jack cheated on McKinley, but he thought it was her. Like, what am I even watching right now? Is this a serious interview or are we being trolled? Okay, I'm kidding, that was kind of rude. It's obviously real and McKinley's trying to tell a story. And it's Jack's fault that he put her through this. It just seems like Jack is genuinely just the worst human on earth. McKinley just explained how she flew from LA to Miami, which is literally across the entirety of America, just for her to land and be told Jack cheated on her and give the excuse that, oh, sorry, I thought it was you.
And he's actually not prescribed even anymore, but that it became a problem with him, especially with the drinking. That's why he got so drunk, because he was, tweaking out on Adderall as well, and that's something you can't mix. So that's why I really looked out for him, and I worried for him because I knew he was taking the Adderall, but he would take it in ways that you shouldn't take it, like popping 2 at once, and you would have that, that feeling of just like bouncing off the walls. That's why he was, so blackout drunk when he would drink. It was that on top of the alcohol, mixing that. It was horrible. There were times where I felt like I had to call an ambulance because he was saying like, I feel like I'm gonna die, my heart's beating out of my chest. And he would always make jokes about that. He would give it to his employees. He would say, you'll work better if you take this, you'll be more sharp, you'll be more efficient, like you said. Like he really tried to get a lot of his employees on it because they were doing exactly what he was doing. He needs his filmer to be on Adderall. He would want the people he's working with to be on the same page because you're just like go, 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 constant go.
So the next thing McKinley would expose is that Jack is actually addicted to substances, specifically Adderall, which if you didn't know is like caffeine X100. It makes you feral, basically very hyper, which explains why he's always doing the craziest, dumbest things on stream. Now look, it's whatever if he wants to do that to himself. But when McKinley says he was giving it to people on his team, that makes it so much worse. Why is he giving these unprescribed substances to random people who should not be taking it? It's very dangerous, because they could have a bad reaction, that they could get addicted, or even overdose, and it could be fatal.
And she basically told me, listen, don't freak out, but Jack really wants you to start OnlyFans, and he said that there's no reason for you guys to be together if you're not helping. And I broke down in tears. I was like, wow, like everything that he had said to me, like, oh, I know you're my wife because you don't have one, and getting me to go to dinner and try to get me on OnlyFans, but it didn't work. Now it's an ultimatum. He wanted me, when he realized he didn't have the control over me when it came to other people and like what they could say, he realized that he did need to create an ultimatum for me. We ended up going to bed, and I woke up, and that morning he had a contract in hand and he told me to sign it. I didn't even have the opportunity to talk to my parents about it. I was gonna call my mom because my mom was more comforting, in that situation, because my dad obviously didn't want to talk to him about that at all. But I didn't even have time for that or for any legal representation. He gave me the contract, and he basically just said sign it. I read through it, and I didn't like how it said, he owns all of my social media accounts, because again, I had a following. I had 500,000 followers on TikTok. I had over 100K on Instagram. That was something I had built for years, and that was something that I held very close to me. So I was like, I just want to make sure, like, in this contract, do you actually own all of my accounts, even the ones that I have? And then he was like, no, the contract means nothing. Like, we can change anything, but it's whatever, just sign it. So I signed it, and then first words that came out of his mouth were, you're now Jack Doherty's girlfriend. And that was the day that we had a label.
Yeah, that is mad weird. Dude didn't call McKinley his girlfriend till she signed the contract to start an OF. And honestly, that contract in general is very weird. Saying that Jack now owns 100% of her social media accounts, yeah, he's some weird control freak.
The second I signed to him and gave him, access to my accounts and all of this stuff, the disrespect started showing. Like, he was not as respectful as he was in the beginning. A dinner, you could forget about it. We never went on dates. We never did anything like how we did in the past. He was strictly just, content. So I was like, how do you keep up with all of this stuff? Like, I'm exhausted. Like, how does your life, like, how do you continue to do this? And he was like, it's all, like, you should try. He was like, you will be successful. I'm not proud of it at all, but I had a horrible addiction dating him because of him telling me I needed to keep up with him. And also, it's like when Jack's face is somewhere, I was always there. I had to keep up with him through a very long period with just not eating and just waking up and taking alcohol. And I weighed 140 pounds when I moved down to Florida. I wasn't eating for like a week at a time. Like, I was just not hungry. I was stressed out. I was depressed.
Jesus, so not only did Jack change as a person once he had full control of her career, being rude, toxic, not going out on dates because, well, it didn't matter anymore. She was legally tied to him, but he also got her addicted to alcohol because he knew it would make him more money as they would be working more.
Her and I would just, be with each other the entire time and just, be like, I wish this wasn't happening in our house. Like, I wish I could have peace. I wish I could have, be able to go downstairs and sit on the couch and have a nice dinner, but it was not that. And his whole entire life turned into streaming every single day, 24/7. And it wasn't him being nice to me. It was constant disrespect. And that was something that was very, very new. Like, I was like confused. I'm like, where did the person I met go? Like, where did the person go that stood up for me and made me feel safe? And, but again, this is all masked because he said it was just for content. But some of the worst things happened to me. Not everything was caught on camera that happened, but a big chunk of things were filmed when I didn't even want them to be filmed. A lot of emotional things happened to me. Traumatic events.
She would then reveal how her whole time living with Jack was a nightmare because he would be doing these streams in his house where people would be fighting, screaming, arguing, just constant craziness 24/7. And I can't even imagine how McKinley feels. I have 2 younger siblings and sometimes I feel like I'm going insane. But then imagine having random strangers inside your house all day pulling crazy stunts. Yeah, I'd go crazy too.
He flipped an entire golf cart on top of me on purpose. And it was for a clip. I know that because he was trying his best to flip it. I was in so much pain. He thought it was not that big of a deal. This again happened on camera and he was just worried about getting the good clip and seeing it on TikTok, not making sure I was okay. I knew I needed to go to the hospital when this happened to me. But he had prior obligations to go on a yacht with Antonio Brown, so it wasn't a priority. I was like, Jack, I need to go to the hospital. I was crying. I couldn't even walk. My back was so bruised up and like my whole entire spine was just bruised. And my neck, it had hit my neck. It literally could have killed me. The way it fell on top of me, it fell on my side. The back of the cart went at the back of my neck and I crunched over and then it hit my back. He said that he thought it broke my neck. And I'm like, if you really thought that and you're like not worried about me, that's insane. He tells me like he's gonna end stream, he's not gonna go on the boat. And I have all of the people that were with him, Antonio Brown included, just saying like, oh, you're gonna be fine, like just go on the boat, you need a massage. And I was like, that's not what I need.
She would even talk about how when Jack flipped the golf cart on her, they didn't go to the hospital even though she needed to. Instead, Jack went on a yacht with some other dude because it was already booked, meaning he prioritized his stream over his girlfriend's health. Terrible, disgusting.
Huge thing was me getting robbed at gunpoint in Compton. I get out for a second, it instantly like gets shut down, and then I go into the Sprinter. And I told them, I was like, listen, I think the third spot we're going to, people know we're live streaming. This is very dangerous because takeovers, it's not only just stolen cars, it's stolen guns, it's people in masks, people are stealing things because no one's getting caught when you're in this situation. Like, nobody is getting caught because there's so many people and so many people have masks on, nobody knows. So I told them, I was like, I think I'm gonna stay in the car for the third one. I don't feel safe going out there. And I was sitting in my seat, and I remember looking up and making eye contact with 2 guys in shiesties. And I was like, oh, I hope they can't see me. The lights are on in here. I need to figure out how to turn the lights off. So I get up. Yeah, I get up. I turn the lights off. And then I go in the very, very back so that I'm not like near the windshield and they can't see through. And I just laid down. I'm hearing helicopters. I'm hearing gunshots. I'm hearing fireworks. I'm hearing every type of thing. Freaking out. So much anxiety. And then I hear the car door open. And I pop my head up. And I'm like, okay, everyone's back. Like, finally time to go. When I looked up from the seat, I make eye contact with the guy I'd never seen before in a surgical mask. Like, it wasn't the 2 guys in shiesties that I had seen. It was a guy with a bag, a gun, and a blue surgical mask with gloves. And I looked at him. He said, "Who's in this party bus?" I didn't think he knew I was in there. So when I popped up and like made eye contact with him, I thought maybe he would spook him and that he would like get out. And then I saw him hop over the seat into the van. And in this van, like, you're able to stand up fully straight up. He started running towards me, and I was like, I'm dead. Like, this is the time I like either get like, you know, killed or something horrible. And I just remember saying like, please, no. Like, I just was begging him. I was like, you can have everything, like, of mine. You can have my purse, you can have my money. I couldn't find my purse anywhere. I was like, where the fuck is it? I was like, please help me find it. I'll give you everything. I completely forgot I had a hoodie on and all my jewelry on. He didn't see any of my jewelry. But in that moment, I would have given everything to him. Like,
of course.
When you're in that situation, like, you don't know, like, I feel like a lot of people are like, I wouldn't give up my stuff. It's like, no, when you are alone, especially a female, like, in that moment, I was so powerless. Like, he could have done anything to me and get away with it. It could have been a stolen gun. He had a mask on. They could have came back to me dead in the car.
Yeah, this dude abandoned his girlfriend in Compton, one of the most dangerous hoods in California, even possibly America. His girl gets robbed at gunpoint, nearly loses her life, and he comes back vlogging it like it's just another day.
And I was like, please shut the cameras off. Like, I cannot, like, please take me off this camera. And he refused. He refused to shut off the camera. He refused to stop his live stream. He was laughing about it, saying like, well, you're gonna wake up tomorrow and like you're gonna wake up to all these TikToks and like these viral clips. And I'm like, Jack, I don't care. I'm like, everything is content. Like, I don't know what isn't anymore. Like, even this, like, you can't just feel a little bit of empathy for me after going through that.
It's clear Jack didn't care about anything or anyone if it wasn't him getting content to go viral.
So I was very insecure, and also he would, you know, talk about my body and body shame me, yeah, constantly. That was something that I dealt with that for years.
What did he say?
He would just say like how ugly and skinny my body is and how he wishes I looked how I used to look. He would bring up my old Instagram pictures and say, I want you here.
Okay, I'm sorry, what the hell am I listening to? I can't believe Jack has been getting away with this the entire time. Dude was putting his girlfriend in life-threatening situations over and over again, cheating on her and even body shaming her. Like, why does this guy even have clout? Why does this guy have money? Why does this guy have fans? Like, who even watches Jack Doherty in Big 2025? I mean, I really hope McKinley goes to the police or takes some kind of legal action, because this dude is literally the white Diddy, the Miami Diddy, the YouTube Diddy, the OF Diddy. He needs to be locked up. Anyways guys, so that was the first part of the podcast. They actually dropped a second part, but it's 3 hours long, so I guess if you want the full breakdown here on this channel of the second interview, let's get this video to 1,000 likes and I'll break down the entire 3-hour thing of McKinley exposing Jack. But that's all I've got for you guys today. It's clear Jack was an awful person to McKinley and he needs to be locked away. I'm just glad he's finally getting exposed. So stay safe everyone, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.